Hey, Bob. Welcome, Tim. Hey, Joseph. Gary, good to see you. All right, that's enough of me just noodling around. But actually what I'm doing, I'm playing over that A minor D7 vamp. And I'm kind of trying to work in an area that I'm not as familiar with. Like here, no problem there. But then this area is a little more fuzzy. I don't have as many ideas. It's not as under my fingers. So it's always smart, if you like, oh, I really got this scale down. Well, then don't work on it anymore. Work on a different position and kind of get it. But I just thought I have a ton of work I have to get to this week is kind of already filling up, which is good when you're self-employed. You like busy weeks. Yeah, so you want to be busy, and but sometimes some things have to cut. Boy, I've got a lot of capos just sitting right here. Okay, I got this G7 12 string. I need to put this back in the 12 string case. I have to get the 12 string out today for a session, so I'll put it back when I do that. Here's a Shub classical capo. You can tell because it's completely flat. See that? It's a tad longer. There's another G7th. It's just kind of the old school guitar capo. They've given me several. I mean, all those G7s I have, they gave me. This is a spider capo, another spider capo. Let's see. Okay, the Hamilton capo. This is crazy. I gotta get some cases out and put some stuff away because here's my flamenco capo. It's sitting out here too. It should be in the flamenco case, and you're like, well, how does that work? Well, I see if I can. It should work on the Martin, but basically the idea is it's kind of brilliant. It's just a tuning peg, and then you just literally just turn it like this. And the leather and the wood, it's all very organic, you know, no metal on this thing. The only problem is it doesn't stay in. It's a lot of work. But yeah, I'm probably not going to be able to get it to work on this. But yeah, but I don't know if capos make a tone difference. Maybe. So like having this on a flamenco guitar instead of, say, you know, a shub or something. I've got a regular shub here too with a slight arch to it. This I basically use the most. It's for the Martin and for anytime I'm using the capo on an electric guitar. Oh, and then I have another G7. What's the difference between this one? Well, this is a lot longer, so this must be a classical G7. But it's got a little bit of an arch to it. I don't know why I have this. Art. Yeah, it doesn't really say anything on here specifically, but yeah, I mean they're cool because the release thing and you know, it's like certainly that's patented, but Chinese don't really care because I've seen knockoffs of G7 capos for about 1/10 the price. I told you the story about how I wanted to market what I called a guitar hammer. And basically what I wanted to do was, so this is a triangle mallet for playing triangle. You know, I have the triangle somewhere. I may have given it to a friend because I didn't buy it to use on that. I bought it to use on a guitar because I thought it'd be cool to, you know. I use that sound every now and then if I flip it over, it's got a rubber handle, and it gets kind of like this really cool kind of, I call it a piano in the other room sound. And I can even play like. I can play melody sometimes. Well, if I want to go. Got to mute a lot of strings. But I wanted to market this, and so it was right around the other collapse, the other bubble. The housing bubble, and a friend of mine was out of work, and we were talking on the phone, and I said, hey, you know, he'd worked for, I can't remember, Sequential Circuits. He worked for Shure microphones, and he knew how to market stuff, and so we talked about how to market this thing, and you know, I thought I'd just have this manufactured. I called it the Guitar Hammer. The only problem is I probably get a lot of lawsuits of guys hitting the top of their guitars and getting dents in them and going, hey, you know, you made me dent my guitar. I'm like, I didn't make you do anything. I'd have to put stupid warnings all over. I'd probably have to emboss a warning on here. Don't hit the top of your guitar with a piece of metal, you know. But so that part of that actually came into mind. It's funny though, and I was flying. I was flying back home, and I was flying first class because I was flying a red eye and I wanted to land in Indianapolis, having gotten some sleep because we were going to drive from there to Michigan with the kids, and I didn't want to be totally sleepy, so I just went ahead. It wasn't even that much more to fly first class because not a lot of people are flying first class to Indianapolis. So, and I just happened to sit next to this patent attorney, and so I was talking to him about it, and he said I couldn't patent it, but I could trademark it. So if I put my name on it, like the Tom Strahle guitar hammer, then technically it would be hard to duplicate. But what's interesting is on this. So my friend Scott. I sent this, we wanted to get it manufactured, basically like this, but we would change a little bit. Maybe get rid of the ball end here but you know, basically stainless steel because I felt like it had the most immediacy tone. And I sent it to this forger Forge, F-O-R-G, a steel forger, not like a Czech forger. And I sent it to the steel forger in Illinois, and I think he quoted me something like, I don't know, $8 or $11 per unit. You know, depending on how many units I got. Like if I got 100 units, it'd be like $11, so it'd be $1,100. If I got 1,000, it would be $8 a unit or something like that. And it would include the rubber and everything. So he would do all of it. And then my friend Scott, who had connections in China, sent it to China. And they would do it for 11 cents a unit. And I'm like, but when I got what it was probably, I'd say 30% shorter. The steel was probably 50% of the thickness, and the handle was plastic and not rubber. So it was kind of worthless. I don't even know if I have it anymore. I think I do. Let me see. Yeah, here it is. Yeah. This is totally not this. Oh, it's almost exactly as I described it. Look at that. And the handle is like, well, I can't really hit, and it did not work. Right? But this has a little bit more immediacy to it. It also, I feel like it bounces better because of the rubber. The way. Actually, I like having the tip. I think if I didn't have that ball on the end, I might not be able to hold it as well. But I ended up spending $30 to buy a triangle just to get this, and so my friend Scott ended up getting a job, and it ended up taking a back seat. And basically, what we were going to do is manufacture it. I don't think this was going to do it. We probably would have kept going to China until we got something that looked more like this, I guess. I don't know. But we would have packaged it with a DVD, and it would have been $30. And so the DVD would show you how to use it. I was creating a bunch of music and tablature and things like that. I was writing songs. I was trying to do all the prep work for it. All the stuff I could do that didn't cost anything. I was doing as much of that. So the Engle, there you go. The Engle, that's right. And actually, it's Engel. But yeah, how did you know that? I guess it's out there, isn't it? I could have called it the Engle. The Engle Hammer, which is angel, actually. So the Engle Hammer, hammer of the gods. But yeah, so I actually, I forget that this is here. That's kind of why I leave it out, because actually it wasn't left out. It was in my favorite mug. I broke my mug that said there won't be a quiz on this. I have to order a new one. This is my Abbey Road Studios mug, which I don't want to break. But it was in there with all the pens and the tremolo arms. Rust. Oh, that's not rust. That's copper. So, let's see what else is going on. But yeah, so then I've also got that string mute here that you put at the bridge. This is the mute that you put at the fret at the headstock. for two-handed tapping, but I use it for other stuff too. If I'm having trouble playing something and not having a lot of extra strings ring out, then I'll throw this on, and I may throw this on a classical guitar, I may throw it on a steel string, I may throw it on electric. It was on the bass for a while because I was doing something. That low B string just kind of kept, the harmonics on that low B string kept popping out in weird places, and I was like, yeah, I don't want that. So, you're kidding. Oh, that's right, the Engle. That's right. I saw that at a guitar store in Pasadena. It doesn't exist anymore. So many guitar stores don't exist anymore. Sam Ash, after 100 years, is close. 150 years, was it? Was it 100 years or 150 years? I forget the headline now. Yeah, we're just catching up today. I'm not really going to do much of a lesson. Let's see. News. 100 years, yeah. There was somebody else that was... also, I don't know if you're familiar with the vertex effects, but not so much that, but he's got a great YouTube channel. I mean, Mason has become a friend, just a brand new friend, and he is just getting to interview all of my idols, and it's just so cool. Okay, so they've got 175,000 subscribers now. He just was interviewing Lee Ritenour, which Mason, I don't know if you were watching. It was Lee was a little too, and I'm sure I'm this way too. He was a little bit too, what's the word, stilted or hesitant in his speech. Not like he was afraid to say something. But check out this. I can probably only go an hour today because I have kind of work to do. But in fact, I got to finish watching this interview. It's funny because Lee is sitting there and he's just noodling the whole time, not plugged in or anything, but he's noodling. And people thought that was disrespectful. And then other people said, well, he's got ADHD. But I find that I actually listen better if my hands are busy. So like if I'm on my phone or whatever and I'm listening to a talk or something that doesn't require me, it's like if there's slides, then I got to look up. Or if someone's, if I can just be noodling. I think he's also just trying to fight aging and have his hands be as limber as possible. I might practice, like my chromatic scales or something like that while I, listen to someone talk. But I don't know. That may be more of a guy thing. Your Avatar. That's where you bought. Yeah, Sam Ash. Yeah, so they're gonna have some serious sales. They were gonna close a bunch of stores. They announced a bunch of closings in March. In fact, I got that 5-string bass that Sam Ash. Well, Pee Wee bought it for me. Pee Wee Hill, the bass player at my church. I don't know if any of you know who Judith Hill is, but anyway, do a follow. Go ahead and subscribe to the Vertex. You'll just see some great. He really asks some great questions. I think Beato's probably one of the best interviewers for guitar players. His Pat Metheny, Sting interviews are great. He seems to ask a lot of the questions that I would have asked. Mason does that as well, and he goes through the catalog and he plays them the stuff. And when he interviewed Dan Huff was playing along with all these songs, including like an Amy Grant song that is just such an iconic Dan Huff session sound that he used so much. Kind of got hired for that sound. Usually I start a lesson about 5 minutes in, but today we're not going to do a lesson. We're just going to hang out. I mean, I'm teaching kind of already. In fact, one of the things I was been most passionate about is helping people save money. And I'm not going to, this is not a progressive insurance ad or anything like that, But one of the things people don't really think about, and it's something that I've always thought about, and that is saved money is tax-free. For example, if you are thinking to buy a car, and say the car is $30,000, all right, and you shop around a little bit, maybe you drive another 15 miles further to find the same car for $29,000, right? You saved $1,000. That's how much money. How long would you have to work to make $1,000? In other words, how much would you have to make depends on your tax bracket. If you're a 50% tax bracket, you'd have to make $2,000 to come to have $1,000. So you have to think of it in those terms. And so when you save money, it's kind of like tax-free income. It's not really tax-free income, obviously. It's like the husband gets home and the wife has all these new shoes and she's like, what was the deal? And, oh, there was a sale. I couldn't afford not to buy them. I'm like, wait, what? But, there are times where it's something that you're normally going to buy and it's a great deal. If you're going to buy it next year, but you can get it this year for half the price you're going to pay next year, then of course you're saving money. So if it's something you need, and I'm not picking on women here, men do it with guitars as well and guns. Guitars and guns. I don't do it with guns. Don't worry. I'm organizing my capos on my keyboard for no real reason here. It doesn't make any sense. If you're wondering did anybody ask any questions too? Since we're just hanging out, you guys can ask questions. Also, I did see that note about Justin Bieber and depression and everything. I don't know. I think he's fine. I don't have his number. I don't hang out with him. I mean, the last time I saw him was November, I think, and we just ran into each other at a show at the Troubadour in LA. And he saw me and he gave me a hug and he patted my belly and went, ooh. And I'm like, well, I'm pretty sure that belly was there last time you saw me. But anyway. But he always cracks me up. He's a funny kid. He's got a great sense of humor. He loves to make people laugh. Haley was there too. So she doesn't really know me very well. So I didn't say hi to Haley. But I don't have a picture of me holding it. There may be a picture of it. I was just playing it at Brad's house. It's Brad's dad's house, and because Jack Ryan had one, and I took a picture of it, but I took a picture of it down on a table. Let's see if I can find that. When was that? When did Brad's dad die? Brad, are you on? What? That was a week before your dad passed away. We were at his house. Do you remember? I'm just trying to look through. It was further ago than that. I don't remember if it was before or after we went to. I'm sorry. I have to take off my glasses to see my phone. I'm sorry, did Brad jump in here? Yeah, if you're ever in Malibu, make sure you go to Malibu Music if it's open. You want to check the hours. You might want to call first too. But yeah, he's got a lot of Gibsons and Epiphones now. He's a official dealer for Gibsons and Epiphones. So many pictures on my phone. I like Spider Capos. I use them a lot. Well, I mean, it just depends. I mean, I can use them. I mean, the cool thing is you could technically create like a kind of a E-sus kind of thing, like a dadgad. It's not really dadgad, but the open strings would be tuned to dadgad. So basically, one of the things you have to make sure you do is it's got these little lips on them here. And you got to make sure those get in front of the fret. They take them a second to put on. And then these move, and you have to line them up. So I should probably do another review of the Spider Capo. I haven't used it a lot lately, but like if I push down the second fret on these three strings, so now it's E, A, so now it's E, B, E, A. And I broke my first nail like bad, so I won't have a nail there for probably another 3 weeks or so. Now something's touching that. It's probably this. If I can figure out why it's doing that. I think it's just that little tab is touching. Let's see. But like I could create kind of like a cool, like if I go to the 3rd fret, right? So now I'm at the 3rd fret, and I'm going to put down the 5th string, and I'm going to put down the, sounds like I'm going to kill him, like putting down a dog. Okay, so, now I'm tuning the E string to, F. Now I've got this really cool kind of F. Lydian kind of vibe. See. Oh, right. It would be, the 4 would be a Lydian. So yeah, maybe I do. Kind of like everything she does is magic. Then you'd be doing something like see, what would that be? B. That's either be C. So I would need. I love discovering stuff like that. Pretty. That's like a C major 7th chord. It's actually it's C, B, E, B, E. It's kind of redundant. So if I put the, oh wait, no, we don't want it. That's cool. Then I've got the C, F, a B, and an E. So I've got a B and a C rubbing against each other, and a C and an E, F and an E rubbing against each other. I could make that. That would be an easy chord to make. That has nothing to do with the capo at this point. I should work on that picking pattern. Check this out. I'm always looking for something to work on that I can't do. And I always tend to gravitate towards that pattern, which is actually a hard pattern, but I got it down so it's not hard anymore, right? We all have those things, and even I have those things that I tend to gravitate towards, and I need to have options. But so I'm thinking thumb on bottom string, then the 4th string, so 3 strings in a row like that. But then I want to hear this E string. Well, I don't want to get the E string with the 3rd finger because I just plucked the B string with the 3rd finger. So maybe cross over with the 2nd finger That would take a long time to get down. Doesn't feel natural. So I'm going thumb, first, second, third, second, third, second, first. But Mason, so my friend Mason, my new friend Mason, who owns Vertex pedals, and he, in fact, I got a new pedal. But he wants to. I think he wants to give me some pedals, but I'm probably just going to buy them. I hate to. I mean, not that he would expect me to endorse him or anything. He just likes me, so he wants me to have his stuff, But I'm kind of like, but I want to support him. I want his business to do well. I go to what is it? I go to DIY, which is kind of a small Home Depot kind of place here in Granada Hills and Los Angeles. And I go there and they go, oh, okay, are you over 60? Do you want the senior citizen discount? I said, I always say no, not because I don't want to be thought of as a senior citizen. But I'm like, no, because I want you guys here next year. Make as much money off of me as you can, and I'll see you next year. So, what are your thoughts on guitar support tools for? Where you put them on your leg? I've never used one. I think probably in some ways they're probably really, really good because it would force you to maybe use the correct posture for classical guitar. So often when I pick up the classical guitar, sometimes I'm playing on this leg, sometimes I'm playing on this leg. And then I find that if there's something I can't do, that if I throw it up on the left leg, ergonomically, it really actually makes sense to play guitar that way. I mean, when you think about it, when you're playing electric and you have a strap on, usually you move the guitar so the neck is at an angle like this. You don't always play flat. You tend to tilt it a little bit, and that's the natural thing. So, but you can have something. I have a footrest like this, but what you're talking about, you generally use instead of a footrest, right? Your feet are planted flat on the floor, and then you basically it's like this. Is that what you're talking about? Yeah, on your leg. Yeah. So. I definitely could see the benefits to it, 100%. Is it adjustable or is it one shape, one size? I wanted James Taylor to make me a box to put my foot on. See, instead of this, I have a box, and inside the box I might have like capos and strings and stuff. But what I tend to do when I'm at sessions, I don't bring this with me often, and I would kind of tilt my foot sideways and stand on my left foot with my right foot to kind of create a fake foot, rest. Oh, they can get fancy. Yeah, I mean, I think it just depends. I think part of the reason some players use them is it for better tone. That there's maybe better tone of having your guitar on that instead of on your thigh, because your thigh can really make a lot of contact with the guitar and kind of make it a little quieter. It's and I'm not quite dressed right for this, but everybody take a sip because I changed guitars. But you're really not supposed to touch the top or the back of the guitar. So the guitar should not be up against your body. It should be away from your body a little bit. It doesn't have to, but you can really, it gets a lot quieter when and that's not even the bout. I'm not even muting the bout. I'm just doing here. But even on your thigh, you shouldn't have the guitar flat on your thigh. You should definitely, if you just to get a little bit more volume, if it's tilting, and then just like this little bit of the edge of the guitar is touching your chest, and your arm is touching the edge of the guitar here, and then same thing here. You just want the edge of the guitar. You don't want any flat surfaces, back or side or obviously front, touching, you get more projection. And keep in mind, so much of relax. See, I'm catching my thumb now. I'm not. I need to use more of the side of my thumb, but at no point am I actually, now if I'm standing and doing like Gypsy King's thing, then the whole body is going to be touching, the whole back of the guitar is going to be touching my body. And that's definitely going to have an effect, but they're typically going to be using a pickup, so it doesn't really matter. But so often with guitar, you're playing, in like a church or in a hall. And a good classical guitarist in a good hall doesn't need a microphone. I've sat in the very last seat of a really good hall, and the classical guitarist was sitting and I could hear every note crystal clear. It's amazing how, with the acoustics and everything. So James Taylor, I just threw that out there. My friend Luis Conte tours with James Taylor, has for decades, I think. And Luis was playing at my church a bit, and I was talking to him, and I said, what's James like? And he goes, oh man, he's really into woodworking. And I said, really? Would he be interested in? I'd love to have a wooden box that's just for my foot to sit on. I'd love to have something like that made. I was thinking about having someone make that for me, and that would be like maybe the thickness of a guitar case, of an acoustic guitar case. And I mean, I'm sure Bruce could make one. And it could be totally flat. I don't, because like I said, what I normally do, let me see if I can back up far enough, which is really bad. And this chair is too high to do it, but because I have it set pretty high. Let me see how far I can get. So I would do this, right? So, or actually this is more likely. So I'm, trying to elevate my guitar to be closer to my body, closer to my head. And that's fine if I'm going to play a song, but after about 8 hours of recording guitars, like this ankle is just so sore, I'm probably doing permanent damage to it. And so, I mean, that's why here in my studio I have a footrest, and if I'm smart, I remember to bring my footrest. But I thought, if I had a little box that I could just keep maybe in the car that would have strings in it and picks and capos and whatever, all sorts of spider capos, mutes, whatever, tuners, I would always have it with me. It'd be in the car, and I'd have a footrest that I could use. I've used guitar cases too, but usually what happens, and guitar cases are, they get in the way. If you got a pedal board, it's no, you can't do that, or if you're around other musicians or whatever. And I usually don't even think about it. I just do it, and it's like, oh dang it, my ankle is so sore. It's not like I sit down and go, okay, now I got to make sure that I set up this thing. Because initially I start out like this, and then I'm like, oh, I got to get this leg up. And I may do it to my right ankle, I may do it to my left ankle. But he said that, yeah, there you go, $4 to match the CBG. Yeah, where is that? It's over there somewhere. Yeah, I still got to get those tuners fixed. Bruce, I'm sorry, I haven't been to my guitar tech in forever. Usually what I'll do is I'll take 2 or 3 things over to him at once and see if he can fix them. Bruce, just a box, like a wooden box that's probably probably 4 inches, whatever the thickness of a guitar case is, an acoustic guitar case. It doesn't have to be precise, but just something to put my foot on. That it's a box that I could store strings in or something. Maybe have a lid with a hinge on it, or maybe just a lid that sets inside, but tight enough so that it wouldn't come off in the car or something like that if it tipped over. You don't want picks everywhere. But yeah, I figured that's something that Bruce could totally make. The rubber, yeah. Oh well, you know what? That's what I use for the roundback stuff, the oud in particular. But so the Arabic bouzouki, the Greek bouzouki, the Arabic saz, and not that oud, but the my other oud. All four of those, I have the anti-slip rug things that you can buy. They're great for that. I just lay it on my lap. The problem is it keeps falling off because I'm constantly moving, I guess, and it just eventually gets off my lap and I have to put it back on. I should have pants made out of that. Okay. I don't think Bruce could make those for me, but they would be quite revealing. But that's what, I would call them oud pants. Can market them. It's so funny because I have a friend who's like a really, really good engineer, and I posted there's a video of me on Instagram where I'm playing the oud, and it's slipping and tilting backwards, and then I put a little bit of this anti-slip stuff on there, and I play the oud that way, and he goes, "It really robbed the tone of the instrument." I'm like, only your ears would hear that. So Mason, who owns Vertex Effects, has been interviewing some of my favorite guitar players. Dean Parks. I mean, it's just like guys who never get interviewed. He needs to do George Deering, maybe Andrew Sinowak. But Lee Ritenour, I said, "Oh, you haven't done Larry Carlton yet." And he says, "Actually, he's in the process, and they're putting together a song list of songs that he wants to ask him about." And I gave him a question that I'm dying to know the answer to. And I've always wanted to know, I probably talked about it here. And Beato did not ask this question. It drove me crazy. I was waiting for it. Never happened. And that is, was the solo to Kid Charlemagne from Steely Dan, the amazing guitar solo, one of the best guitar solos, I think, top 10 of all time. Was that improvised, or did he compose it? Did he sit down? I mean, knowing Steely Dan, they take a long time to make a record. It's so funny, today when I do sessions, and part of it is because my skill set is fairly high. So, they kind of expect to get some stuff done in one or two passes. But it's amazing to listen to Ritenour talk about working with Quincy Jones and spending all day on a song. And I'm like, really? Lee Ritenour? You made him sit around all day working on a part? It just seems crazy. But one of my favorite solos that Lee did was the solo on Strawberry Letter 22 from Brothers Johnson. It's funny because I think they called it Strawberry Letter. It's called Strawberry Letter 23, but the lyric is Strawberry Letter 22. I don't know why the song is Strawberry Letter 23. Is there a reason for that? Am I losing my mind here? Strawberry Letter 23. Yeah, Wikipedia. Lyrics. The song's chorus says Strawberry Letter 22 instead of the actual title of the song. This is because the premise of the song is that a couple is exchanging love letters in the musical form. The singer is creating Strawberry Letter 23 as a reply to Strawberry Letter 22. Okay, well that makes 100% sense. And I mean, I love Shuggy Otis. Or he said Shuggy. No. Yeah, it's Shuggy Otis. Anyway, I love that whole record that Shuggy Otis did, that Strawberry Letter 23 is on, is really, really good. And he even uses, this is in the early 70s. It's before Prince, and he plays all the instruments. I think he even played trumpet on, horns on it and stuff. He's Johnny Otis's son. Johnny Otis, the blues singer. And I think Johnny Otis played some guitar, but I guess he had a studio in his house or whatever. Shuggy built a studio in his house in the 70s. And before Prince, he did all the playing and everything in San Francisco. And man, that record has some great vibes to it. It's a great record, if you're having a low-key party and you want music in the background, That record is good. The only drawback to that record, at least in the car, because I've listened to it in the car more than anywhere, on Strawberry Letter 23, the glockenspiel is really loud. It's like the cowbell in, which actually the cowbell in Blue Oyster Cult. What's the song Blue Oyster Cult song? It's not that loud. It's funny that they, SNL made a skit about it. It's pretty stinking funny. Let's see. Pants with a built-in leg rest. Yeah, exactly. Oh, wait, I'm missing out on something here. Holly, what are you guys talking about? Pepper says, Holly, it works. My teacher told me to go to Dollar Tree to get it. I'm going to try some non-slip shelf liner on my knee. Pepper. Oh, Taylor. Oh, it's so slippery. Yeah. I'll show you what I use. Hold on. This is for rugs, anti-slip, and so I got a big piece of it here because the small piece kept falling off, so I just it was like I was constantly having to reach down, pick it up, and put it on my lap again. So if I'm gonna play like some, we're in tune. Nice. Okay, everybody take a sip. I'm changing instruments. I'm playing a different guitar. And I'm going to go ahead and use the footrest too. But it's kind of like wearing a skirt. Kind of like it. I'm just kidding. But if I didn't, it would be doing this all the time. I love the quarter tones on this. You see, I've got 18 frets per octave here. Here's the octave. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18. Like I'm almost bending it like a blues, and the blues is in there. See, that one's in there. I've got a fret for the blue, that out of tune. But I actually don't ever use that on this instrument because it definitely takes it in the blues market. But like, what is that note? G. Okay, so G and then C. So I have G, B flat, C. If I go to that. So there's the octave. If I want to go Phrygian. But there's the minor third. So I've got G, A flat, B flat, and notice it's not slipping at all. It's totally staying. But in Arabic music, they would not play the A flat. They might use this slightly sharper than A flat. That sounds totally normal to them because they grew up to it. And that's, I always say that if I had a 1,000 lifetimes, I'd spend one of them just doing oud. I would just play oud my whole life. and I would just I would live there and just immerse myself in the music. I mean, that's the tonality they've heard since they were born. In their mother's womb, they heard that tonality. So, that Turkish, that particular one is probably, I got it from Istanbul, yeah. And so, but that Arabic bouzouki is probably played throughout Turkey, Egypt, I would say Morocco. I don't know if I've told you about this, but there's an app called Radio, and it's like the coolest thing. I'm sorry. Hey, Richard Abdul, good to see you. Take a sip. Yeah, it's one of our drinking game rules. So if I break one of the rules, are we breaking rules? I don't know. If I pick up a different guitar, if I drop my pick, is that 2 sips? I forget. If I change guitars, if I mention that I played all the guitars on Apex Legends, which I have just done a bunch of stuff for them, for Steven. I'm working on another game this week. I'm working on the new Pete Yorn record, which is a lot of fun. Having a lot of fun with that. Trying to take my time on that and just get some really good playing on it. I don't know if you guys are familiar with Pete Yorn at all, but one of my best friends is co-producing the record with him and writing songs on it, and is bringing me in on to play some mostly like baritone and lap steel, but also playing like, I'm thinking I'm going to play some 12 strings on this track, and I got a new track yesterday, and I'm getting another one today, I think. So, yeah, I wish so the Arabic bouzouki, I didn't even know it existed. It's a lot like the saz. The saz is a little different tuning and string order. But the saz I like too. But it's also round back and very slippery, so it rolls off. So yeah, I'm hoping that Mason from Vertex Effects asked Larry Carlton, was Kid Charlemagne, was it? And I should do a video where I just don't monetize it. I should just do a video where I talk about my top 10 favorite solos. And they won't be, I mean, some of them will be like, I should probably play them and then go, I remember like one of them was this one, and you'll know this one. Most of my favorite ones are probably not ones that are going to be well known, I would say. Look at the tone here. Need some volume. That's not very much gain. That's a lot of reverb, huh? This one's too much gain, though, I think. Then he gets what I would say Jimmy Page sloppy. It's like, and that kind of reminds me a lot of Eruption too, which wouldn't be one of my top 10 favorite solos. I I think I've told you this immediately as soon as I heard Eddie. I went, yeah. There were guys that were, within months of Eddie Van Halen coming out, they were like really trying to perfect that whole tapping thing, and I just kind of went, I don't know how. I don't know how I can make any money with that. Really, literally. The number of times somebody's asked me to tap is I can count on one hand in a session. It just never happens. Sung by Randy Travis, written by AI. Where that came from? No. Yeah, I think AI could probably. I think here's the thing with AI. It's still you can't just go, okay, AI, create a country song, boom, okay. Randy Travis, now sing it. Oh, wait a minute, Randy passed away, right? So it was somebody. It was they were using his voice or whatever. I think I heard about that, but I don't know. Was Randy passed away? I can't remember. But no, they would literally probably go through and either tweak the song or have AI create 1,000 of them, and then you pick out the one that's actually good. So that's not unlike what A&R departments do, when, especially in Nashville, when they get sent 1 billion songs. And I believe that a lot of when they get sent songs, that's why Nashville is the song demo capital of the world. When they get sent songs, they pretty much will listen to them. They may only listen to 20 seconds of it. They'll know within the first 20 seconds of whether it's going to be something that might go into the maybe pile. But yeah, that's already a human. And I don't know that maybe AI could probably go and listen to 1,000 songs and pick out the 5 or 10 that are like maybes. So maybe that would be a job that AI could do. I don't know. Yeah, my friend Josh just mixed the whole Dua Lipa record. I mean, he did the whole record. Just came out. In fact, that's who I'm working with. Josh is working on the Pete Yorn record. We're doing that. I'm working on that for him. So, boom. What's a great idea, Pepper? What did I say? Duly noted. Oh, then I should do a video of my top 10 favorite solos. Yeah, and I can even kind of sit down and kind of go noodle on them and go, well, I didn't really ever learn this solo, but this is what I got from it. It definitely would be, but I think Heartbreaker. Is that Heartbreaker? Or I get Heartbreaker and what's this one? Heartbreaker and Whole Lot of Love. That's Whole Lot of Love. Heartbreakers. Probably going to get a copyright strike for that. Zeppelin's really strict about it. But if I did do a video, I might do it in kind of like this way, where I just film it and go ahead and have the songs all lined up and just play them, and then I would not monetize the video, so I won't even have a problem with it. So. It's really hard. I think he does that where he transitions from to this. It's really hard to kind of go from that. Where you're bending and pulling off to an open string. He's a great guitar player, and he was a session player. He played on a lot of records before Zeppelin even was a glint in their parents' eyes. So, I mean, I would say probably one of... that lick, I think Alex got it down. I probably had it at some point. I can't... I always like that lick. What Lukather would do. And he definitely a very influential guitar player. I don't know if that would be my most influential solo. I mean, it's the outro solo on that song that really, I mean, it's a good guitar solo. But yeah, I mean, there's so many guitar solos. I transcribed so many of his solos back in the day from so many records that he played on that weren't Toto. So I really like he played on, he didn't even get credit for it, which kind of was like, had the record and his name wasn't. I'm like going, I know that's Steve Lukather. There's no way that's Earth, Wind, and Fire. It was Back on the Road. Back on the Road by Earth, Wind, and Fire. I think the record was Raised, maybe. It was a double album. No, maybe it was called Back on, no, I don't know. But Lukather does a great solo on that one. So I may have to do a live stream where I just don't monetize and I go, here, maybe that's what I do is just do it in our live stream thing. And then, but it would maybe be one that I would be more likely to kind of do a better quality video than this. I can't believe how much, it's so dark in this room right now, and yet it looks like it's really bright in here. I do have my light on there, but it's aimed at the ceiling. I don't know. If I had that off, it would be probably... It's like, this camera is really sensitive. Yeah, see? That's how dark it is in this room. And then I turn that on, and it's not even aimed at me. It's so weird. Okay. Let's see. What other... Oh, what's that? Twisted Lines? Are you asking me? It's hard to explain, but the sustainability. Ah. Oh, is it a pinned message? Okay, let me pull that up. Hold on. Questions for Tom. I never look at that. I'm sorry. Hold on a second. And I saw that post about Justin being sad and everything. I don't know. I think he was just posting a tear. Was it BuzzFeed? The article was the link to. I wouldn't trust BuzzFeed with any news as a news source at all, or any of those TMZ, any of those celebrity things. I remember when TMZ, when the police served a search warrant on Justin Bieber's house in Calabasas, and they said that they found Molly there and all this stuff in red cups. No, there were red cups there. There wasn't Molly in it. And so the captain, the police captain that served the warrant, she goes to my church, and I talked to her, and she said that they didn't find, the only drugs they found was like a prescription drug that one of his friends had in his backpack that wasn't his prescription. I don't know what it was, but it wasn't Justin's. It wasn't in Justin's possession. They just were getting the security tape because Justin threw egg at his neighbor's house. So I actually know the guy that lived across the street, and he thought it was preposterous. But he also said that Justin wasn't home, and his friends that were staying there were always having parties and making a lot of noise, and it was crazy. And so, yeah, I actually know the guy that lives across the street. Let's see. Oh, it's 10. Thank you, Bruce. Yeah, I probably should start getting back to work. Let's see. Let me check this. Okay, that's okay. That's not that. But I do have to track on this game. I've got to do some more for the Pete Yorn record. And then, so Mason was talking about maybe interviewing me, and I was like, you know what that interview is going to be? It's like, I've not done anything. I've not done anything. I've not done anything. You know, he won't have any tracks that he can play for me and go, how did you do this? Or what were you thinking when you did this? Or how'd you get that tone? It's like, it's just, I've not played on any iconic hit records. I just never have. And I've never been that guy. I wanted to be that guy. Would have loved to have sat next to, Larry Carlton and done sessions, Lee Ritenour and all those guys, but that didn't happen when I moved out here. So, but let's see what else is going on. Let's see, do I have any new instruments? I don't think I have any new instruments. I did get a new pedal. I can show it to you. I'm not going to hook it in, but it's not flashy pedal. It's an interesting pedal. That's why I bought it. So, it's a Boss pedal. I love, the thing great about Boss pedals, although everybody, it's a Boss pedal. Like, it's not boutique pedal or whatever. This is kind of a boutique pedal, this version of Boss. In fact, this is a Wazacraft, which I think they have to be made in Japan, yeah. So, what this is I actually have a CE1, which is the original chorus pedal. It's one of the oldest pedals at Boss. I have two of them. And it's a great chorus pedal. But one of the things that's interesting about when it's engaged, it's a lot louder than when it's not engaged. And you're kind of like, what the heck is up with that? Well, it's got a preamp in it that boosts the signal before going into the compressor or into the chorus. And it kind of like is this, kind of cool sounding. Like, I think a lot of players turn the chorus off and just use the thing as a boost. So this is a booster preamp that has kind of a natural boost, and all it is a level and a gain. And the level is master volume. So if you want it cleaner, you turn the gain down and turn the level up. If you want it dirtier, you turn the gain up and probably you're going to need to turn the level down. But it has a CE, which is CE would be the chorus pedal, the CE1 preamp circuit in there. And then if you go to RE, so there's three switches here, three positions for this middle switch. The RE is the Space Echo, which again, a lot of guys would use the Space Echo as a preamp to get a tone, and they wouldn't even use any of the effects from it, the tape echo or anything like that. They just like the tone of the Space Echo. So that's kind of what this does. It gives you that tone circuit and that booster circuit, the preamp circuit that you can put in your signal path on your pedal board. So that's what I bought this. I thought it might be a cool kind of different pedal to have. It's mostly a mid boost for the most part. So it's not like there are a lot of treble boosters out there, and those are great to have, especially in front of an amp. And I think this would actually be really nice in front of an amp. And that's again what people would do. They'd probably go, a Fender guitar into the CE1 or the Space Echo and then into an amp, and they just like the tone, and they would turn off the echo, but they would keep the whole thing on. And I think with the Space Echo, you're on anyway. It's like you can't turn off. You can only bypass a Space Echo if you actually have a cable that goes around it and a switch that bypasses that. I don't know that you can turn it on and off. It's kind of one of those things that's like you're going through it and you're going through it. So if it says Wazacraft, I think that means that it's a little bit more of a boutique-y kind of thing. And so it's a booster. I'll tell you what, I can give you a Sweetwater link. That's where I got it. A little ad for Sweetwater here. Let's see, where do I get my Sweetwater? Here we go. All right, let me get you a link for that. Oh, wait, I need to go to Sweetwater to get that. Okay, hold on. Boss. So it's a BP-1W. Very, very sexy name. Here it is. Yeah, I'll just do the regular one here. Okay, copy the link. Go to this little thing here and create a link. Yep, paste. All right. Let's see if this works. Let's see what it looks like here. That should work. And then if you buy it, just check it out. You can listen to the demo. The demo is actually pretty good. I think the demo did a good job of kind of selling the product. If you go to the pictures, there's like several pictures of it, and then there's a video at the end. My tech guy that I deal with is Dave Brow. So you can ask for, if you don't have a person there at Sweetwater, not that I get anything for that, but you know, I always like giving Dave the work, and you're going to say, hey, Tom Strahle recommended me. So, yes, I did see Hired Gun. I did watch Hired Gun. It was a weird, you could have done, there are so many other players that I would have highlighted. If I remember correctly, it was like Alice Cooper's band and Billy Joel's band, and a lot of bitterness by, let me get rid of this bright, see the trouble with, there we go. It seemed like there was a lot of bitterness on Billy Joel band's part. There's almost always like the 5 main acts that, the solo acts that are like the holy grail of touring musicians. Like, and so many of those musicians are in LA. And so it's like, oh, you got the Paul McCartney gig? Oh, you got the Billy Joel gig? Sting I would say Sting is that kind of gig, but Sting would always get his players from kind of weird, different places. They weren't like typical touring musicians. Like a lot of jazz players, stuff like that. I'm trying to think of, maybe Beyonce might be that gig. Where it's like, oh, you're touring with a legacy artist. The legacy artists, which are getting, there's less and less of them. Bowie might have been one of those. James Taylor, I don't know that I would consider James Taylor a legacy artist. If they're doing casinos, Indian casinos, they're probably not. It's more the stadium, artists. Who are the big art acts that play stadiums? The solo acts. Those are the legacy artists, and those were like those touring musicians. That's, if I were to do a movie called Hired Gun, those are the musicians I would highlight, not the ones that used to have a gig. Now, the weird thing about Alice Cooper, who is I've always said, that's someone I would love to have lunch with. I had Alice Cooper records when I was a kid. What was the Juju song or whatever? It used to freak the heck out of me. Alice would, but Alice seems like a really cool guy, and he's really into golf, which I'm not, but he's had a kind of a revolving door of really good musicians in his band, and a lot of times his musicians in his band went on to other things that were pretty big. So that was interesting. That's what I learned from that movie, but yeah, it wasn't exactly, it wasn't the players that I was looking to see on there, and I couldn't even tell you. I mean, the thing about like Abraham Laboriel Jr., who plays drums for Paul, he's been doing it for 20 years. Paul's got a band now. Paul's been playing with a band for 20 years. It's the Paul McCartney band. It's not, it's almost like Wings, except he's been playing with these guys a lot longer than the Beatles and the Wings combined. So, yeah, so I don't know. Yeah, but I did watch that video. I only saw it once. The one I really like, there's several that I really like. The Muscle Shoals documentary is pretty good. When you find out there's a bunch of big fat white rednecks playing on all these classic R&B hits, it just warms your soul. It's just like that is the coolest thing. And the respect on both sides for each other was in the South, you know, it's just like, it was awesome. And they talk about the Stones recording there too. What was it called? I think it was just called Muscle Shoals. The other one, of course, the Wrecking Crew, which was Denny Tedesco's first movie. He's done one now that I haven't seen yet. I need to see. But he's done one called, it's funny, I'm hearing strings ring out. He did, Denny did Wrecking Crew, and it was his first movie, and it took him forever because he needed to get permission for like the 125 songs that are in the movie. And every single one of them you would know, and every single one of them is the Wrecking Crew. And so if you haven't seen the Wrecking Crew, check that out. There's a great app called Just Watch. So when I'm like, where is that? Where was that? You know, where can I watch that movie? And you just enter in all your streamers that you subscribe to, the free ones too, like Pluto and Tubi and all those, and it'll tell you where it is. So Wrecking Crew. I don't think I have to type in the word the. Yeah, here it is. All right, it's on. It's on Disney. So if you have Disney, the Disney bundle, it might be part of Hulu. Oh, it's Hulu. It's Prime. So Prime, if you have Prime, Peacock. I have Peacock and YouTube free with ads. So yeah, you can see it on YouTube for free. Hey, Steve Barry, what's going on? And then the other one was it just called Muscle Shoals? I think it was called Muscle Shoals. And there was a little bit in there that was, I think, if I remember correctly, yeah, it's just called Muscle Shoals, 2013. It's on Hoopla. Okay, you all have Hoopla. And Canopy. Canopy is, I don't know this one. That's a free one. So it's, Hoopla is the LA County Library. So your library may have, you know, if you're in the U.S., your library may have an app that you can download for your TV. We've watched movies on our TV that you're renting from the library. And you have to watch them within like 3 days. So you don't download them, but you just reserve it. And I think they have a rule where only so many people can be watching, you know, can save a movie for a while, right? Have you ever done that, Holly? And Hoopla is the LA, I think the LA stands for LA. But it may be a Hoopla, maybe HOOPLA, maybe universal. And if you look at your TV apps, if it's up there, you know, there's no reason you can't get you have to have an LA library card, but I don't know that you have to go there in person. I don't think we ever went to a LA library to create an account. I think anybody can create an account. And you can check out books on your phone too with that app, which is really cool. So if you want to read a book, but again, it will come off of your phone within like 3 weeks. I think you can have it for 3 weeks on your phone. And then you can also reserve books because there'll be books that you have to wait for, and you can reserve them and they'll show up. And you'll get a notification that you've gotten a book or whatever. And I've done that before too. So, and there's certain books that you can have and you can read all you want. You don't have to worry about that are like public domain, like say, you know, Bronte sisters or something, Jane Austen or Dickens. I pretty much read everything, all Austen books and all Dickens books. I love those. I used to hate reading that stuff. I don't know. It's just like, it's amazing now. I hated reading it when I had to read it, when the teachers told you had to read it. Like Brothers Karamazov. Oh my gosh, I hated that book in high school. Oh, college. I read it in college. I hated it. I was like, are you kidding me? And then I read it like 30 years later and I went, this is like the greatest book. It's such a good book. So, yeah. Let's see. But yeah, so the Muscle Shoals one is really good. Let's see, what's another? In the Shadow of Motown's not bad. You know, the only thing I didn't dig about the Shadow of Motown one was I think there was a lot of jamming on the tracks in between the stories, and I just want to hear the stories. I don't really want to see them jamming and reminiscing, like playing. Like, I don't want to see the old guys playing today. Not that I don't want to see them play. Like, if I want to watch a video of that, I will. but I wanted to hear the history, and I wanted to hear an hour and a half of the history. Instead, it was like 45 minutes history. If I'm remembering, and In the Shadow of Motown came out before the Wrecking Crew, and the Wrecking Crew, they don't really do that. It is interviews and flashbacks and stuff. There's very few pictures of the Wrecking Crew, very, very few, and they played on all of the what's his name, Phil Spector recordings. So, yeah, thank you, Bruce. Bruce just posted the link for Muscle Shoals one you can watch. Or no, it's also on YouTube. That's awesome. Okay, so the Wrecking Crew and the Muscle Shoals one, and then the one that's on the what's the studio just down the street from me, where Nirvana recorded. What was that one? That wasn't a bad documentary. Again, there was this kind of weird thing where there was some bitterness with like Rick Springfield, who the studio owner signed Rick Springfield, and then Rick left to be with a major label, and there was bitterness there. And the guy died, like the owner died right after that or something. And they kind of, I don't know. I'm trying to remember Nirvana. Discography. Let's see. Yeah, so it wasn't Bleach. It was Nevermind. I don't think Bleach was recorded there. Nevermind was recorded at, somebody's already saying it there. Sound City. That's the name of the documentary. Let's see where that is. That's also not bad. And it's Dave Grohl did it, the drummer from Nirvana, and he ended up buying the board that was there. That room is funny, and the place is a dump. And I think it would get flooded because of the way the driveway was designed and the parking lot and everything. But the place was a kind of a dump, and like when they showed up, it was like we're gonna record here, Butch Vig and Nirvana, and yet the drum sounds in that room for some reason. There's nothing special about the room, but the drum sounds sound good, and so but. Dave Grohl took out the board from there, and the board was definitely part of the sound, but I think it was the room, and you can't really take that room to his house. He as much as we'd like to, he probably at his house designed a room like that. Let me look it up here. Sound City. Let me see where that is. Also 2013. And this one also had a little bit of a jam at the end, but at least they put it at the end. So it wasn't too annoying. Oh, Canopy for free. Do I have Canopy? Interesting. With a K. Kanopy. It's the only place it could be found. The history of Sound City and their huge recording device, exploring how digital change has allowed people to have no place in music to become stars. Featured drummer Dave Grohl, but the records made at the studio. And what happened was, it was kind of this ebb and flow of work, and they were almost, I think, ready to close the doors and just call it go bankrupt or whatever. Where is that? Oh, did I close that window? There, here it is. But Fleetwood Mac did their records there in the 70s. And so you're like, whoa, and they must have been doing really well. But like after the Gold Rush was recorded there. Buckingham Nicks, like one of the first records done there. And that was the light here, I apologize, that's creating, it's the website that's creating that light. That's one of the great stories in there was that Mick Fleetwood came to see if he wanted to record at the studio, and the only thing they really had that they were working on that they could play for him was the Buckingham Nicks, and he was playing them that song, and Stevie Nicks and Lindsey Buckingham were sleeping on the sofa. They were kind of living at the studio. Stevie was working as a maid, and Lindsey was just like getting by, I think, just playing guitar, but not really for anybody. And Mick goes, I love this guitar player. Who's the guitar player? And Stevie and Lindsey are in the back going, who's playing our record? And it was they were like, I want that guitar player, and he said, well, yeah, but you're not gonna get him without getting her. They're a team, and he goes, we don't need a female singer, and they're like, well, you're not gonna get him then, and that's exactly what Lindsay said. They were dating at the time, and Lindsay said, yeah, you're not gonna get me without Stevie, and so that's how Fleetwood Mac became the ultimate Fleetwood Mac. The Elton John Caribou record was done there. Bachman Turner Overdrive, Not Fragile. Even Last Bill Cosby Sings there. But the Fleetwood Mac album was done there. Rick Springfield, his first big record there. You Can Tune a Piano, You Can't Tune a Fish by REO Speedwagon was done there. Grateful Dead, Terrapin Station was done there. Cheap Trick, Heaven Tonight. I mean, like, seriously, Double Vision by Foreigner. Damn the Torpedoes. Come on, by Tom Petty. Crimes of Passion by Pat Benatar. It was like, are you freaking kidding me? Zebop, Santana, REO Speedwagon again. But then some of these records, you know, Barry Manilow, Springfield, like next record that didn't do as well, and then Rat. Now, what got them through the '80s was a lot of the heavy metal bands, the hair bands, but Rat recorded there, Out of the Cellar, but then so did the Winans. BB and CC Winan did gospel there. I don't think I ever recorded at Sound City. Does it still exist? Is there still? Well, apparently Jack Johnson just did a record there, and Marcus Mumford did a record there. So Switchfoot did a record there in 21. Dylan did a record there in 20. But it was kind of starting to die. You know, they weren't really filling up the studio enough. And then System of a Down did System of a Down there, though, in 98. Oh, before that, though. So it was starting to die when Nirvana showed up and did Nevermind. I mean, they're credited with Fleetwood Mac's greatest hits, but that doesn't... Guns N' Roses did Appetite for Destruction, but just some of the session there. Nirvana came along, and next thing you know, that was a huge record. So then Rage recorded there, Tool, Rancid, Tom Petty, greatest hits. That doesn't count. Studio doesn't make any money when the greatest hits comes out. They don't get anything for that. But then Chili Peppers recorded there. So I mean, so that's called Sound City, and you can check it out. And it says, 69 it opened in Van Nuys. It's not the best neighborhood. Fall Out Boy, Death Cab for Cutie, Slayer, Metallica. I mean, it's just unbelievable. Yeah, Johnny Cash. U2 recorded there. I didn't know that. What did they do there? Oh, it must have been way late. I don't see them on the list here. Arctic Monkeys. Kid Rock. Big Bang. Nine Inch Nails. Metallica, Cold War Kids. I mean, come on. There's something about the studio. Now, I don't even know if it's who's Nate? Sorry. Hey, Nate. Hey, I'm not sure if you remember me, but I got my guitar 3 days ago. Oh, hey, Nate. I don't know. 3 days ago from... remember you on the stream. Yeah, I went way past an hour, didn't I, Bruce? Okay, Sam, good to see you. There's some really good documentaries. I really like the Classic Albums series. I think it's Eagle Rock Productions. You can look those up on Amazon. They're also on a lot of this, but it's Classic Albums is the name of the series. And I think it's Eagle Rock. Those particular ones are great. They did, I think they did Goodbye Yellow Brick Road. They did Steely Dan Asia, which is how I discovered them. And it was such a great, and they do kind of have the modern band playing some of the tracks, which again, that's kind of like, okay, that's cool. But I'm here for the stories. And it was like, one of the stories was that I've always, was curious about it, or always heard rumors about. It was so fun to hear straight from the horse's mouth was the, how Jay Graydon ended up playing the guitar solo on Peg, which is Man, that's one of those solos that's a top 10 solo. He actually, for me, I think Jay Graydon might be responsible for 2 of the top 10 solos. A guitar player that nobody knows. It's never made anybody's lists. But I'll try to put together, I have already put together a list, I think, somewhere. Excuse me. Desktop. YouTube ideas. Let's see. Do I have it on here? Favorite songwriters, famous ones. No, I'll have to do it here. Top 10 solos. I'm going to put Peg just so I don't forget. In fact, it's 2 Steely Dan songs on the same record. Maybe Rosanna? I don't know. Whole Lot of Love, right? Was that the one? Heartbreaker's great too, but Whole Lot of Love. And those reaction videos do really well. I should probably do that. But again, I won't be able to monetize it, which is a bummer. If I get 10 million views of it, or maybe I'll do a shared. Maybe I'll do a shared thing, but it might not. If I put Zeppelin in there, they might not even let me keep it up. So I hate to do too much work on it. In fact, this one might even get in trouble because I played the hook. Oh, we peaked out at 30. That's pretty good. A slow build here today. Yeah, Kid Charlemagne's is Larry Carlton. That's right. But the one that you don't know would be Twilight Tone. I think it's called Twilight Tone or Twilight Zone by Manhattan Transfer. I think it's both. I think the intro is Twilight Tone and the song is Twilight Zone. They did kind of a play on this Twilight Zone thing, and Jake was like, it's not quite like that, but it's kind of like that. But Jay Graydon, Jay Graydon was one of those. He produced that record, and he played a triple track guitar solo on it. That somewhere I saw a transcription of it, and I don't know if I have it. I know I have it somewhere packed away in a box somewhere. It was in a jazz magazines. They transcribed it, all 3 parts, and it's amazing. Because he goes these harmonies, he does tritones, he does thirds, he does fourths, he does unisons. It's the most, oh, yes. You know what, Richard? Terry Kath would have to make the list, because I'm just talking about solos that influenced me. This is not the best solos ever, but 25 or 6-4, holy cow. 25 or 6-4. That name, that title. I know what it means, I forget though. Yeah, that's definitely one on my short list. So right now I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and the Twilight Tone might get cut, and Rosanna might get cut if I can think of a better Lukather solo. And then Kid Charlemagne. I mean, Carlton's solo records has some great solos. Maybe Strawberry Letter might get on there. I'm glad we cleared up the title of that song, that controversy. Prince, is there a Prince solo? I mean, Purple Rain, the live, that's pretty amazing. But was it influential on me? It was probably a little post. Because see, all of these songs, these are all 70s. Peg, Kid Charlie mentioned. Rosanna's 80, 84. Whole Lot of Love is 70s. Twilight Tone is 80s. 2564 is definitely 70s. Strawberry Letter 23. The Brothers Johnson version, I think, is 78. Queen. Some great riffs. Is there a Beatles solo? Well, the Let It Be solo was pretty big for me because it kind of showed me how to navigate. Maybe Let It Be. I'll put that one in here. I could do honorable mentions too. It showed me how to navigate. It showed me how to navigate the pentatonic scale and box shapes. And that would be kind of what the whole point of this video would be because I'm like, what did I learn from this? What was the, why is this one of my top 10 solos? And it would be because it gave me something. Yeah, exactly. Box shape. Oh, box shapes. Those are the like little pieces of the, what tone do I have? I don't have any tone. Oh, wait. Okay. I'm going to get rid of the gain thing. Let's do like this tone. What's this tone like? No, I was just talking about that Steve Barry. Yeah. I knew he did that solo. And the funny thing is that Mason wants to interview me. We've become friends. And I'm like, all of the interviews, this is going to be me saying, I've never done anything. I've never done anything. I've never done anything. Mason, he's like, no, I want to do a video. We'll make it about something else. I'm like, okay, man. I mean, we do have to come up with a concept for it. Maybe what he can do, because he builds pedal boards. Maybe what we can do is like, maybe a video on designing a pedal board for a guy who has been using computers for 20 years. So, I mean, I wanted to be the guy that he's interviewing but the Dan Huff, so many great interviews that Mason's gotten to do. I mean, he literally flew to Nashville to do that. Lee Ritenour is the new one. He did the one, the guitar player Louis Shelton, who was actually a really early influence on me. That's another. Black Friday is another song that kind of was an influential. I'm going to put that in there. But sorry, Friday. Oops, Friday. It was probably the first solo I ever learned. I ever had transcribed. And I could also get into the whole like Chet Atkins, learning a Chet Atkins tune or two. Teacher that showed me, or even just learning how to do the jazz. I don't know. I don't do that. I wanted to, that was a way to have a band by yourself. A very sad little junior high kid. So the box shape thing, Pepper, the air that you breathe. 80s. Well, that's definitely 80s. Hotel California solo. Maybe. No Gilmore solos. Never got into Never got into Rush. I mean, there's only so much you can get into. And I was a jazz snob for a period too, remember? And I was studying classical guitar. So it was like I was bouncing around these different genres and trying to throw myself into them to try to have it be absorbed. It's kind of like getting into a vat of something and hoping that it absorbs into your skin. I don't know what you would get in a vat of to want to have it absorb. But that's kind of what you would do. I would do. When I was in college, I was really studying jazz, but mainly studying classical guitar. So I was really trying to get my classical guitar chop. And that pays dividends down the road. Totally use a lot of those chops. But so the box thing is like the pentatonic number 1. The middle 2 strings is this little simple box right here. And that's in A minor, it's a G, A, C, D. And it's also here and up here. So when you listen to the Let It Be solo, whatever. He's using this box, he's using this box, and he's using this box. And it's kind of a nice way to visualize the fretboard. And every pentatonic box, that one, you know, let's see, you do it here. You can have those all over the fret, so you could be playing, you know, I could do. Any of the boxes, this shape here is, and that one has the 4 and the 5, so you can put that blues note in there. So it just shows you that, you know, if you learn a lick here, I'm trying. Yeah, besides Strawberry Letter, I know there's. I know I could pull out a Lee Ritenour solo off of Captain's Journey. I have music. Let's see. Ritenour. Yeah. All right. So Captain Fingers, Captain's Journey, Morning Glory, Sugarloaf Express, Matchmaker. What do you want? That's enough for me. A2. I don't know. It's hard to decide. Oh, sorry. I've got to work on something. So, all right. I need to sign off. I will continue to conceptualize these top 10 solos. It's going to be very hard. I'll probably do top 10 solo list 1, top 10 solo list 2. I want to try to do it not maybe in this vibe, because I would like a better quality. I don't know that I would actually put up any kind of tab or anything, but I want to talk about like what I learned from the solo. Okay? Anyway, that's it. God bless you all. Thank you for watching. Bye. I hate to sign off when we've got so many people watching, but I gotta go. I gotta get to work. Bye.